Good evening. Good evening. Welcome along. It's been a few weeks, but we're back. Inspire and be inspired. Another inspirational conversation, motivational topics, and life hacks. In case you're not aware, my name is Andy Ward, and tonight I am joined by two wonderful women who are going to be telling us about their ideas on leading a purposeful life. If you're with me live, then please do leave a message. Let us say hello to you. And throughout the course of the evening, if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments that you want to make for the ladies, then please feel free to leave them. And any breaks in conversation, I will come and say hi to you. So I can see we've already got a whole heap of people watching us. I want to say hi to Sarah, hi to Claire, hi to Katrina, hi to Miss Tate as well, Mrs. Tate, for all of the crew on the recording as well. Also, please feel free to leave any comments or messages and the ladies will be in touch with you. You can see on the screen A Purposeful Life, Louby Lou and Michelle Ward. Everyone's favourites, I'm sure. Also, Angela is with us, also Angel. Without further ado, because I'll be here all night welcoming you all along, hi to Leah as well. Let me bring my guests onto the screen because they are sitting nervously waiting to join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you in the top, Louise Haworth, and in the bottom, Michelle Ward. A head-to-head. Not the first time we've had you head-to-head. We did Michelle reminded me, we did a test of a buzzing quiz, didn't we? Quite a few months ago
Yeah,
now.
we did.
We did. So,
Lockdown, I think.
first of all, let me officially welcome you along. Louise Haworth, a.k.a. the wonderful Louby Lou. Welcome along to Inspire and
Thank
Be
you.
Inspired. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
agreeing to do this. Also, someone who promised she would never ever do this, and we managed to drag her on, opening herself up wide to the world, Michelle Ward. You look quite familiar, actually. Have we ever met?
No, and
No.
we never will.
Okay. So just to confirm, I am here in the back of the house, my little man cave, the studio. Michelle is in the lounge, sat on the sofa. She did say, "Oh, I should have got myself a glass of wine." This is your last opportunity while I talk to Louise. Do you want to get and get yourself a glass?
No, because we'll be here all night.
Yeah, and anyone that's caught you on the radio show knows how messy it would get as well.
Exactly.
So many people. Also, Ross, hi to Dawn, and anybody else again. So, as I say, ladies, gentlemen, if you have any comments that you want to leave for the ladies, then please do. And at some point, I'll come back to you. So, what is this conversation all about? A purposeful life. Lou, you came up with the idea, the recommendation of that title. Um, can you tell us why and why you are in a position to be able to have this conversation this evening?
Yes, of course. A purposeful life really came from me sort of feeling like I discovered my purpose, and this was around how I sort of basically got into sort of life coaching. And yeah, that sort of came from that really, and just to play on words in terms of like living on purpose. So I think before, like, I guess when I started this, it was sort of during lockdown and just looking for something else. I did a lot of work around self-development anyway. I did a seven-day program and actually got coached live on the call. And basically what came out of that I wasn't really fulfilling my purpose.
Okay.
And I was obviously seeking more from that. And it came out that, yeah, that's what I was decided to do, to go on the life coaching journey. So I signed up for my course last year.
Wonderful. So, just to clarify, if I understood that correct, that began at the beginning of COVID, right?
Well, it began last year, so sort of the
Okay,
second
so
lockdown
the
time.
second year. So
Yeah.
tell us about your life before you went along the into the life coaching
Well, I still
avenue
have
then.
a, yeah, I mean, I still have a full-time job. I have a corporate job, and obviously that pays the bills. I work for a really lovely company, but I always sort of felt like there was something more really. And I think I always got sort of trapped in these sort of corporate roles where I was never really fully happy, never really felt like I was really fulfilling my purpose. So I think, my life is still very much, I'm still in the job, but also I think what keeps me sort of going really, is knowing that I've got something outside of that I feel passionate about and that I feel that I can help people with. And I think given my own life experiences with travel, like, lots of transition, lots of change, that that sort of thing I can bring to the table to sort of help people and support people with that.
So you feel I think you touched on it there. Your own life experiences give you
Yeah.
the expertise to be able to comment on people, but it's always from a point of offering a different perspective to people, I assume, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with coaching. It's very much about holding that space for somebody. Like, they might come to you, they feel like they want to make a change in their life. They're seeking like clarity, more direction, like I say, and maybe looking for a purpose. And it's just really holding that space and allowing that conversation to take place, but in an environment that you're not sort of telling the person, you're not advising the person, but you're kind of having conversations that sort of, with the right questioning and the right environment, they kind of come to that answer on, themselves really. But it's just about creating that correct space for that to happen.
Okay, because you did say that it is important to stress that life coaching isn't some kind of therapy.
No, and that's the thing. I think when you first sort of, my first steps would be to have a conversation around what it is they were looking for. And I think when you identify that perhaps the person's coming to you with trauma, or, perhaps they need something more than, life coaching. I mean, life coaching is very much about the future, very much about moving people forward rather than, going back over past, situations.
Mhm.
Obviously, these things come up, but it's still around moving them forward and creating sort of excitement for their future rather than dwelling on the past, if you know what I mean.
I understand. I understand. Still more people joining us. Good evening to Rosemary, who sends you kisses
Oh,
and says, "Hi, gorgeous Lou." Colin Williams, a gentleman who a plethora of knowledge. He says hi to both ladies. And again, anybody else that's joining us, please do feel free to leave a message, say hello, and when I get a break in the conversation, I will come back and say hello to you. So, Lisa, good evening as well. Let me now move to my second guest, Mrs. Ward. Why are you here? Actually, I say, why are you here? I think it's how Lou explained that. It will set us up perfectly for how you feel you are in a new stage in your life. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that. And there's I'm here basically, A, because you told me I had to.
That's not fair. That isn't fair.
Is that, or is that not the truth though?
I asked, would you like to?
Oh, that's not how it went into my ears. But we'll talk about that later. However,
Okay.
I am really, really happy to be here because going back to what Lou was saying, what she's doing when she first started that, and well, you're still doing it, but she needed to get hours under her belt. And she asked me if I'd sit with her for an hour on Zoom and just have a chat to her so she could record it and get that again, to make up her time, if you like. And I got a lot more out of that than I thought that I really would. I was just talking to you about how I was feeling, what I'm not doing, what I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to try and make a bit of time for myself and have a bit more time for myself in my life, like get back to the gym, basically. And that's where that started for me. I'd really say that that's what made my head click and change in the direction of starting to get a couple of hours to myself a day, because Louise said you kind of deserve to give yourself a couple of hours. Is that not right, Lou?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, what I think would be great from your perspective to share with people is the fact that you. I've totally forgot what I was going to say. That's crazy. I don't know. Having you sat there in front of me has made my mind go blank. No, I think it's important. I think it's important for people to see how some things that can appear to be wonderful for many people, sometimes there's something a little bit lacking inside, and it's not that you felt your life was empty in any way, but there was something that you said needed to change. Is that correct, Michelle?
Yeah, I just felt as if I'd lost a
Oh,
lot
by
of
the way,
money.
we can actually see Parker now. Sorry,
Oh, um, good. Star of the show.
sorry. Do carry on.
I forgot what you asked me now.
Yeah, I was
See,
saying that
this is
you
what you're
felt there
dealing
was
with.
you felt there was a change in direction that was needed. That you didn't
Yeah,
really feel that you were actually fulfilling your own purpose, right? And something that Louise said hit the nail on the head for you.
yeah, totally. I just felt as if I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I had to do, as in having time for myself, going to the gym, because I enjoy doing that. But I just couldn't get the motivation to do it, really. I didn't have a reason to, or I don't know. The best way to explain it is I always had an excuse.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what it was.
that's what I was going to say as well. There isn't anything that you do that you didn't already know, but
No,
it was just getting the energy to actually to get that. And I think it will be important at some point in this conversation to highlight again where it was that something clicked and how it's different now than it was, down the
yeah,
years. So let's
yeah.
address. Let me bring that to you then, Lou. How do we begin? How do people begin when they feel that there is definitely something lacking in their life, and pretty much, everybody has come to that conclusion at one point or another, no matter how fantastic they believe things are. How does it start when they have that notion? What do you recommend?
Well, if what in terms of within a life coaching
Well, no,
scenario
just
or
within themselves,
general.
the general the, the actual beginning of the journey. Someone has an idea. They think, I need to do something's got to
Oh, sorry,
change.
the lights.
That's
I'm
okay.
really
No,
the
no
lights keep
problem.
that. I'm at the office, and I think the
You've got
oh.
just wave your hand. Is it on a sensor?
So I think really it's about getting back to the essence of you, which sounds a bit cheesy, but it's almost like, what is important to you, what drives you in life, what's your value, like what's your core values, what brings you joy, and kind of having all that out in front of you, because I think we can all. I think for me personally as well, with where I was at that time, was kind of going through the motions. And, I've written down here, like from mediocre to marvelous, because I think we get caught up in this. But I think when we get back to this, like, what is it really? What is it? And it can be something really small, but I think it's just when you're ready to sort of go inwards really and look at these things. And it does take a lot of self reflection, and I think it is part of that really that can set you back on, perhaps where you having that vision really, the bigger vision. Where do you want to be, and how are you going to get there, basically?
Hmm.
What really, starting small really.
Well, you took the words right out of my
Yeah,
mouth. You have to focus on the small steps bit
yeah,
by bit. I mean, these are things that I've snippets of information that I've gleaned down the years from reading books and talking to other life coaches along the way. Every journey begins with a small step, and if you focus on the small steps, you do have to have a roadmap, so to speak.
yeah.
But you can only deal with what's immediately in front of you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. And just, and I think and I think that's why maybe people put it off, because they feel like, oh, I could never have that life. That happens to other people, like
mm,
I could never live abroad, or I could never, but it's like, yeah, but if that's what you really want, or if that's what you think is going to, really change your life, the small steps could stop meaning, maybe going away I just had literally a conversation with a client that I've been coaching, who's a colleague actually, and just around her sort of like feeling that there's got to be more, because she's just hit 50, but her partner's got young children, and she feels that she's really limited. But it's like, yeah, but it could just mean that it might mean going on, on a mini break every couple of months, or just small things that lead you towards the life that, yes, while the children are small, you can't have that life, but it doesn't mean it's not available, if you know what I
Hmm.
mean. So,
mm.
and just knowing that she's starting doing those small things, it's given her back her mojo. So it's just like you say, just starting small, really.
It's not always immediate, and everybody, Michelle
Yeah.
touched on it earlier, everybody will always have an excuse.
Mm.
And whilst we don't sit in judgment of people, if you make excuses for yourself, you're never really going to act on it, are you? So you
No.
do. Is there a way that, although you say you don't tell people what to do, you do have to be quite, I'm asking the question, sorry,
Yeah.
do you have to be quite forceful at times trying to get a message across, or do you have to be delicate in the way that you approach these things?
I think it depends on what the situation is, but I think the main thing with coaching, which is different to, just a conversation that you might have with your friend, it's about it's like an accountability partner. So it's almost like you enter a contract, and so if you sort of end it with, okay, what you're going to do, what's your next action? Oh, well, I'm going to phone, well, when, and it's checking in on that person and really setting some realistic strategies, basically, that you work at together. Because I think, like you say, you can just put it off and be like, yeah, I'll sign up to the gym after Christmas or whatever. It's like, have you signed up to the gym yet? Why not? And then obviously, why not is then, okay, well, what's blocking you? And that is another conversation that leads. So it's kind of like that, really. It's like the accountability, which I think is what, when you're entering a partnership, I mean, the calls that I was doing before, obviously, that Michelle spoke about, were brief, not brief, but just, maybe an hour, not necessarily a partnership. Whereas with coaching, you're kind of encouraged to sort of enter, like I say, a 6-week or a 12-week program. And then because you're kind of become someone's accountability partner, that's when you get, results, really, I think, isn't it? When you enter something that's a bit more
So
long term.
that will lead very, very neatly onto Michelle's situation. Michelle and I have what's the what I'm trying? Well, we've been into fitness for quite a while, haven't we, Michelle? You've
Yeah.
flirted around with fitness from time to time. Sometimes you've taken it really seriously. There was a time where you couldn't walk a kilometre without getting out of breath, and then you were running half marathons and everything. So rather than me tell your story for you, I just briefly, framing that for everybody. And so you would have moments, wouldn't you, where you would have periods where you would be in the gym a lot. Then you'd make an excuse as to why the gym wasn't for you anymore, and then it would be months before you'd go back. And then all of a sudden, something changed. Lou mentioned about accountability, and you decided to get involved with a private coach, right? A health coach. Am I jumping the gun here? Is there anything that you want to fill in before that, or is that correct?
No, I'd say that correct regarding the health and fitness. But what I did want to say is, for me to get to that point, my life for the 3 years before it, my head wasn't probably in the right space because of what I found out a year and a half down the line, is that I was perimenopausal. So, and I couldn't use that as an excuse then, because I didn't know that that's what was happening to me. But my self-confidence went. I was self-doubting myself. I had no energy. I really felt as if I was tired all the time. So to get to that point of joining that coach, which I only did in October after Vocal Booth, that was after 3 years of getting my head right, and my head had to be in the right space for me to want to do that.
Okay, so
So it's
sorry,
not,
I jumped in there. I thrust it
no,
forward. So tell us then about the beginning of that journey, the frustrations that you had, and why life didn't seem right for you.
it was just literally from one day to the next. I was working at a company here where I was a regional manager. I had probably 30 salespeople under me, running half of Spain. And then it was just as if the next day I couldn't do it. I'd wake up and oh, I can't do that. I can't reach those targets. And then I remember the one day sitting in the garden crying, and I remember you saying to me, "What's the matter?" I don't know. I have no clue what is the matter with me. I just feel like I need to cry. And I'm not a crier at all. I've got a wall around me. And then, so I went to the doctors. You said you need to go to the doctors. He put me under antidepressants straight away and sleeping tablets. And I had that for a good year. And I carried on with my job. But still, because the sleeping tablets and the antidepressants were kind of putting a plaster over what was really wrong, everything was still happening to me in the background with the perimenopause, which is where of just very, very quickly your body decides that you're no longer old enough to have children, and therefore basically what is happening is your body shuts down and it's getting ready for you to die because you've had your purposeful life, you've had your purpose. So unknowingly all your vitamins start leaving your body, your calcium, everything just starts leaving because you're not needed anymore. So
And that's what the menopause is.
That's basically what's happening.
Okay.
So everything leaves your body and that's why ladies get bad bones, they put weight on, the first sign for me was waking up in the middle of the night. I'd go to bed at 9 o'clock, wake up at 1 like it was the morning. And that's because the melatonin was leaving my body that keeps you asleep. And you might not remember, but a few occasions you came downstairs, you're like, what are you doing up? I'm just wide awake. I can't get back to sleep for the life of me. And it's just everything leaving your body. So the first thing that the doctors do 9 times out of 10 is they just give you antidepressants and sleeping tablets. But that's not stopping or replacing everything that you're losing. That's just putting a plaster over it and letting your head think that you're okay and keeping you asleep. So everything's still going. So this was a long journey for me, a big journey for 3 years to get in front of the right people, speaking to people and saying, I don't think that I'm depressed. I think there's something else. But going back to the doctors for 18 months and he'd just up my dosage and say to me in quite a forceful way, you cannot come off them, Michelle. You can't come off them. And that petrified me to think, well, what's going to happen if I do? But I'm just getting worse and worse on the inside. And that's just a plaster over the top. So that was the biggest part of my journey, I'd say, with the last year, getting in front of the right people.
And how did you get in front of the right people?
It was literally by chance. I went with Nikki Tate and we went through a charity here called the Pink Ladies. I went to get a mammogram. That's why I went, because I have to have checks because of losing my mum with breast cancer. So I went through them because A, it's cheaper, B, it's quicker, and they get a donation. So we went to book that. And when they were there, they just said, would you like a smear as well? Yeah, okay. I didn't even think that when I was having that appointment, I was in front of a gynecologist, which is really what I was trying to get my doctor to refer me to. I didn't even think that day that that's what I was doing until I sat in front of her and she said, right, let's do this. Are you on any medication? And when I told her what I was on, luckily she went, well, that's an antidepressant and that's a sleeper. You're perimenopausal. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And she basically told me quite quickly, it means that everything's leaving your body. You need to replace it. You need HRT. And I remember coming out, she'd given me a prescription and going to Nikki, look at this. Look what I've gone at. I felt like I'd won the lottery. Literally felt like I'd won the lottery. And I started with them. She also gave me a number for a company that I get my vitamins from. So that's replacing the hormones, but I still need to replace everything else, the vitamins, the oils, the melatonin. So that's why I take other tablets in the day as well, alongside that. So basically, I'm just going to have to keep taking them forever. And I've got to try and keep up with the dosages that my body's losing.
Mm-hmm.
And if women don't realise that or they don't know that, then all of a sudden they just wake up one day and they've got heart palpitations. They're worried about getting in the car to drive to work. Mm-hmm. I've done it for the last 20 years.
Well, let me come back to you in a little while then, and we'll talk about some of the other symptoms and the other causes. I just want to say that we've got a hell of a lot of people watching. Anybody that's watching on the Inspire and Be Inspired page, you may notice there's a few of you watching there, but most people are watching on my own personal profile. So if you want to come and join where a lot of the conversation is, even though you can read the comments on the screen, If you come over to my own personal profile, that's where most people are watching. That's where a lot of conversation is taking place. So I just thought I'd let you know that if you're watching on Inspire and Be Inspired, come on over to my Andy Ward personal profile, and that's where everyone's watching. I see all of your comments. You can see them coming up on the screen. Thank you all for the replies. We'll come to them very, very shortly. So listening to Michelle's story, Lou, something you obviously you can relate to from other clients, or was Michelle one of the first people that you came across that had this issue to deal with?
Probably not the first. I mean, I'm sort of, I'm at that age myself, so I completely, like when Michelle's speaking, I completely can relate to what she's saying. But in terms of probably the people that I'm speaking to and the people that I have, been coaching, mainly women are around the age where that is, they are in that time of their life kind of thing. So yeah, I can definitely relate in that sense, and feeling, not so much like I'm not an expert in that area, but definitely with, my recent friend feeling that she's come to that stage, and what does it mean now? She feels like there's not really much more that she can do with her life. She wants more. So it's that, the support's there around that kind of feeling, because I think it is, also the emotions that come with reaching a certain point in your life as well as a woman. Can be quite tricky.
That may be very difficult for partners, men, to hear that their wives are going through it. Michelle and I have a very strong relationship, but even you've said, Michelle, that you found it difficult to discuss this with me, right? You feel that well, back over to you. Why did you feel that you didn't want to, or you couldn't discuss this?
I think what it was is there was that many different things on a daily basis that were happening, little things but different things, that just simple things like the self-doubt, the worry, the heart palpitations, the anxiety. One of the biggest things for me was the worrying, just ridiculous worrying. And as I mentioned to you before, if I told you every single thing at every point of the day, I couldn't, I was going to deal with it. I dealt with it. I got over it. I cracked on. That's basically what I did. So as a woman and as a wife, I do that. And I don't want to put any worries on you. I didn't want to say to you, right, I'm going to work. By the way, I've already worried this morning whether Drew's got to work. I'm petrified that Mikey's going out on his bike later. I'm worried about this meeting that I've got at 10 o'clock. And I'm sitting here thinking, is my car going to start? It's never not started, but I'm not going to. But however, have a great day, darling. See you later.
Yeah.
I'm not about to do all that.
Because it is quite easy to be dismissive. It could be easy for me to have been dismissive in the past. And, when you say, for example, I'm worrying about if Drew's got to work okay. I'm worrying if Mikey's okay. And I have said to you in the past, they're adults now. They've got to live their life. Leave them to lead their life. Stop being a mum. Leave them to get on with it. But that's part of that's not just you being a mum. There's a bigger issue here, wasn't there? And it was 100%. Only when eventually you had a conversation that I thought, oh right, okay, So the only reason I'm bringing this up is because other men really need to pay attention to their wives deeper, because sometimes it's not something that you can immediately see.
I think there's a lot more, just sort of interruption if you don't mind. I know that I sent Michelle the training. There is actually a lot more awareness now with regards to menopause, and I think the training around the menopausal expert training, it's free and it's available to men as well. So I think that's the thing, it's kind of the education part really, isn't it? And men sort of feel a bit helpless in these areas, and I think it is just about knowing what it is and what you can do as a partner to be supportive.
Oh, that's cool, because I've never seen it. I've never seen anything like that, and it
really
would
good.
It definitely would be helpful.
Yeah, we can always share the link or something if people are interested, because it is free, and it's, I think it's really good to get it out there.
I just saw a comment here. I'm just going to draw a reference to it. Where did I read it? Dawn kind of says, if I'm not worried about something, it worries me.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly, Dawn.
yeah.
It's great to see everybody having their own little conversations here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the participation. Okay, so where next in the conversation? I think, Lou, it's interesting to hear Michelle's story because she's really on an interesting journey at the moment, and then I'll come back to you. If at any time you wanna jump in, then please feel
Yeah.
free to jump in.
Sure.
So yes, Michelle, the story, your journey, and then you started to get help. Did you feel better immediately, or
No, it took a little while, and I had at that point as well taken myself off the antidepressants. I just lowered it and lowered it and lowered it, because the thing is with the antidepressants, and my friend Sarah has said this as well, they can actually make you emotionless.
Mm.
So you can go from one extreme to the other, literally rock hard, or worrying about absolutely everything all day long. And it's really hard to get that balance. So I weaned myself off the antidepressants, and then I was petrified to tell my doctor that I got HRT from a different source, but it is what it is. Um, so I'd say probably after the first months of being on the HRT, now that might have just been mentally as well, that I felt better because I knew I was on the right thing. Whereas before, I knew I was on the wrong thing.
Mhm.
So if that makes sense, I'll probably help myself a lot by thinking, right, this is right. I'm putting all these vitamins in myself as well. This is what's happening to my body. This is what's going to help me. And basically, this is me now. This is me. So that, I'd say that has now been, Nikki will probably know because my memory's terrible. I can't say how long I've been on it now. Probably just after probably last summer.
Okay.
So I've probably been on it about a year, I think, the HRT.
So then after that, and you started to feel a little bit better. That then
Hmm.
lead us up to the point where you suddenly, was it the conversation with Lou that then made you think, okay, I need to get back into the gym. I need to do something different.
Yeah, because but I can't stress enough, because I know that there's going to be ladies that are either watching this or have watched it, that I really can't say it enough times, that you can't put pressure on yourself to just get up today and go to the gym. It took me all this time for my head to be in the right space, for then my head to tell my body to do it. It's all got to be in unison. So that it is a path, it's little steps, it takes its time, and then all little things happen that hopefully can get you onto the next level and go into the gym, which is what I'm doing now. So talking to Lou, yes, definitely helped me with that. When I came back from vocal booth, you went to England, didn't you? As soon as we got back, you were away for a week. You went to see your mum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the post VB blues, and what am I going to do now? What is going on with my life? All my friends have gone home. Um, and I was just looking online, and I saw an online diet coach and fitness. And as I was looking through the photographs, I thought, I know that body. I don't know how I know a body because I've never seen it. But it was my friend Carmen from Birmingham, Carmen Hoskins. And I messaged her and I sent her the picture and I said, "Is this you?" And she went, "Yeah, that's me." I said, "Wow, absolutely amazing. You look incredible." She'd been on this program. She'd been on it for about 6 months by then. But and it literally was me just thinking, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I need to start, as we said, planning myself 6 months ahead, and how do I want to look, or how do I want to feel, and what do I want to be doing in 6 months' time. So I can either do what I'm doing and do nothing, or I can take steps to become and get where I want to be. And I just messaged him, got some information, and just thought, do you know what, I'm doing it. And before I knew it, I'd sent some money, I'd paid, and I was in. I was balls deep.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I was
this
going to
isn't
say
this,
all in.
this isn't the first time that you'd actually done that, right? And
No,
the only reason I'm bringing this up, because I know, is the fact that this time was different than the last time, and it's important to
completely
know that
different.
you definitely touched on it there. Maybe you explained it perfectly. Sometimes all of the, what is it, your ducks have to line up, is that the saying?
Get your ducks in a row.
Be in the right mindset.
Yeah, so you had tried it before,
Everything.
it didn't work. Now, but now you, as you say, you went in balls deep, and you come out the other end, and you started. What was the biggest thing that made you realise you were winning, so to speak? Was it other people commenting, or
Other
you
people
felt different?
commenting. Probably both, and probably all of the above, because I had the what Louis said earlier about accountability. This coach, you have to check in every week. You've got to send photographs, you've got to send your weight, what you've been doing, and he holds no punches. He literally, he just will just tell you how it is. You've not done what I said. Why am I wasting my time? Oh, shit.
Give me his
And
name.
but it's great because, but then you get praise when, you know, when you do well. And having this picture of what Carmen had done in my mind, and knowing that she'd got there meant that I could get there too. And all I had to do was keep going. Now, mentioning before what you said about I have done it before, someone has sent me a meal plan before, but that was it, on a piece of paper. That was it. So basically, that was all down to me. No, I ain't going to do that. I need someone going rah 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 rah, which is what this is.
Okay, so let me stop you there. Come to Lou. This will highlight perfectly what the role of a life coach is, and it comes back to the accountability. Tell us about why it is so important, the accountability, again, because I think we need to keep driving it home. Hopefully the Michelle's words will inspire other people, but until you actually have that in your life, it might be difficult to realize how it can actually give you that little extra nudge, right?
Well, that's it. And I think that sometimes having someone neutral as well. I mean, I think often, I know that, you know, we've all got friends and family who, you know, are amazing, but sometimes you do just need somebody who is going to tell you like how it is, you know, and you might not like what you hear, but actually that is what you sometimes need. You need a bit of tough love, and having the accountability and the check-ins and the, you know, and it was like, oh God, you know, but that's what you, when you can kind of get the results, as Michelle said. But I mean, it's also having the right dynamic, because what can work for some might not work for others. So I guess it is just finding that, you know, if you have that chemistry with somebody, and, you know, that is what I guess with the life coaching, it might be a little bit different in terms of like when it is a sort of a health coach, like a very much, you know, I guess it depends on the approach, but it is having that, you know, that you're going to have that call, and you know that they're going to say, okay, so what have you done about X, Y, and Z? And they, you know, you want to have evidence, you want to have like, not, there's nothing wishy-washy, it's like actual, and that's why I think it has to be very specific, you know, very specific strategy and timelines, and so that you have got it right. Okay, you said you were going to do X, have you done it? If not, why not? And, you know, like I said earlier, so I think that really does help with coaching.
Is it doesn't, because some people are highly motivated by money, some people are not motivated by money at all. Life coaching isn't necessarily about putting more money into your bank, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, obviously you know, you can make a living out of it, but I think, I mean, I'm
No,
just
sorry, I
starting
mean
out.
for your clients, people who come to you,
Yeah.
they don't need to be coming to you thinking, okay, so I'm going to you know, I need life coaching and you're going to make me a millionaire. That, you know, that sometimes it doesn't have to be about money at all, does it?
Oh no, not. I mean, it's very, very different. I mean, it can be all sorts. I mean, it can be around career. It can be around, you know, you want to relocate, but you don't know, you haven't got the confidence. It can be all sorts of
What about love?
situations.
The
Love,
the
yeah.
day
I
after
mean,
Valentine's Day.
yeah. I
You know,
think,
is
yeah. I
that
mean,
tricky? You can't really advise people on. Some people have a messy love life, right?
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they do. But I would say, I think the thing is, I think I've had coaching with people who want relationships, but perhaps are held back for various reasons. They, you know, they are looking for love, but they've lost their confidence. They're perhaps not, you know, they're sitting at home watching Netflix every night, wondering why they can't meet someone. So it's, you know, it's that sort of thing. But that can come down to motivation. It can come down to self-esteem. Obviously, something may have happened that has knocked their confidence. So it's then about the building blocks. And I think that's what coaching does. It sort of starts at the sort of, okay, you want what's over there, but something's happened, and it's kind of breaking that down and then building up this sort of, the steps to kind of get there. So, okay, right, have you signed up for a dating site? Have you gone out for, to meet people and things like that? So yeah, I mean, it just depends on each situation, but I think, I guess it can come down to a lot of things really, but there's definitely, you can help people with confidence, self-esteem, so.
We live in a society, we live in a world, an online world now, where everything is basically a walking meme, a living cliche, so to speak. And you just mentioned that about motivation. I was reading something on Instagram earlier, a personal trainer that I follow, and he was saying many people sit around waiting for motivation to come along. You have to actually act. And I'm, all of these are, and life coaching. You're basically, many life coaches that I've read up on in the past, you're sharing words that are centuries old, right? This isn't something new.
Yeah, we all know. I mean, this is the thing, but I think, social media, there's so much out there, isn't there, now as well? And I think, if people are stuck in a rut, they're stuck in a rut. And I think that a lot often they know what they need to do, but they kind of can't get there. And that is helping them bridge that gap, So, for my personally, the one thing that I think I've struggled with, because I think with doing something like this, you can't really talk about it unless you're prepared to sort of walk in the shoes yourself, which has, I've had to do over the course of this 12 months, because I'm not very comfortable putting myself out there on social media and feel a bit, so there is this, so you have to work with all of that. And this kind of course, you do all of that. But I think, it is, we all know it, don't we? But it's just just having the tools to get there.
Exactly. So talking about courses, having the tools to get there, Michelle, that will, so your personal fitness is going well. Everyone's telling you about how fantastic you look, and the motivation is there for you. You wake up, you have an aura about you. I mean, to all intents and purposes, to the rest of the world, you're just like happy, smiling Michelle that's hasn't got a care in the world, and you are in that position right now. But on your journey along the way, you found that there was more purpose to yourself, things that you'd learnt along the way. You felt that you could offer things to other people, right? Tell us about that,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah, I think I was probably about 4 weeks into that program when I started to see a difference. And I remember when I thought it, I was actually at the treadmill at the gym, and it went quite quiet in the gym. And I just thought, this would be great time to get some ladies in that are feeling the way that I've been feeling, when there aren't a lot of other people here. So, because that's a big thing about, well, for me, and for women my age and older, is sometimes it can feel a little bit intimidating walking into a gym that you don't know anyone. Everyone looks like they know what they're doing. So I just thought I would like to try and help women that were in my position get the help that I got and get on this journey that I'm on, even if it's not to the extent that I'm doing it, but just to, get a bit fitter. It's not all about looking amazing. A lot of it, and you've said to me as well, a lot of it is more about strength as you get older, just so that you can carry your shopping in, so that you can play with the grandkids, so that, just little things like that. So I decided to reach out and see if there were any courses that I could do, because I felt that I wanted to help other women, but I had to know what I was talking about. I can't just say, come to the gym, come here, do this with me. I need to know all the crux of it. So I reached out to a guy that lives here called Steve. He's got years and years of experience, and I'm doing a medical referral course with him, which would give me the tools, hopefully, to recognise ladies that are feeling the way that I was feeling and point them in the right direction to get help.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be able to help them with the fitness, but I can't necessarily, do a blood test for them, or I can't prescribe them anything, you know, or so point them in the right direction, but maybe be that central point for that. So to get to that course, I have to do a basic personal training course, which is what I'm doing at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. I've fallen behind the last couple of weeks because I've done a little bit of partying, but you know, it's fine to get off the horse every now and again, as long as you get back on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's planned in my week. I'm going to have a couple of sessions this week, get some dates in. So that's my journey going forward. And that will also help me keep on my fitness journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm going to be hopefully helping other ladies, then I need to keep myself fit and my mind strong as well. So it's you know, it's got a dual purpose.
So you talk about helping other ladies. You had the idea to set up a group. How did the idea of setting up the Facebook group come about? And tell us about the incredible response that you had. Because, as I say, most people here know you from at home in Birmingham, or from work, or through Vocal Boost. So you have quite a large social circle. And when you said about you wanted to help people, you had the idea to set up the group. So because you haven't touched on that yet.
No, so Lou had started a group last year that I joined, and a lot of ladies are in there, and that's quite inspirational. But I just wanted to have a group that focused on how women are feeling, and they could actually talk about why they were feeling a different way and what they could do about it. So I don't even know when it came into my head or why. I think I just wanted to post something somewhere, and it just didn't feel right just posting it on my page for everybody. I wanted to try and find the right group of ladies to talk about it with. So I just thought of this name, I'm Every Woman, because I am. We all are. We're all every woman, you know. And primarily, I have made it for ladies that can talk about menopause symptoms, chat with each other, look for help, advise each other, point each other in the right direction, just let each other know how we're feeling, if we've been to doctor's appointments, struggles we might be having with GPs. And it's doing pretty well. There's about 430 members in it. I think I've had it for about a month. And because everyone feels that it's a good place to talk, that's got my mind racing on doing other things as well. So it's just, you know, I need to slow down a little bit, I think.
You've definitely found your purpose. You found your direction. And
yeah, but I can't find my keys when I go to work in the morning. So
true.
it's like,
or the remotes in the fridge.
Yeah.
You had like tens, hundreds of people sending answers to questionnaires that you'd done as well.
Yeah, I just started to do something because for me, everyone was saying I felt that women just needed to write down how they were feeling. Once you put something down on paper, you actually, as well, I believe, see it for the first time. Because you might feel something or say something, but then you'll go off and you'll get the shopping, or then you'll go to work, or then and that's gone then until the next time you feel it. So I think to stop and focus and write down. So I just created this questionnaire, which I did pinch from you, Lou.
That's okay.
And just put a few questions that I thought would want to be asked. How are you feeling? How are you feeling on a daily basis? What's making you think that what's making you worry? Where do you want to, you know, how would you like to feel again? I can't think of the others. And the response was amazing. The response just for women to write down, and every single one, I can literally say, was exactly the same. We were all worrying. We were all had anxiety. We were all waking up in the night. And it was enlightening to see, really, that I felt like that 3 years ago and no one was helping me. And I just want to try and help. That's all. I just want to try and help.
Shout out to all the itchy ankle crew. out there.
Itchy ankle.
These are only
itches.
things that I know from having the conversation with Michelle.
Itchy ankles.
So very, very inspirational indeed. We still got so many people watching. So many people are throwing praises upon you both. So Lou, we've been sitting listening intently to Michelle's words. This has all come about very partly because of a conversation that you had with Michelle on your own journey. So are you proud? Are you proud of the woman she's become?
Very. And I think I think that's how it starts. And also even with the group thing, I mean, the group that I set up was
Angela, but sorry, Colossi said, by the way, it was a godsend throughout lockdown. I don't know where it's gone though. We've got that many comments. I can't actually. Oh, here we go. It says,
I've got it on my phone.
Both groups are wonderful. Lou's during lockdown, and now Michelle is supporting our recovery in so many ways.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it helped me. And I think that's like similar to what Michelle's saying. It's like it has a dual purpose because, you sort of, it helps you, but it's helping others. And that's kind of where I guess I kind of got inspired myself and with my own sort of journey, leading to where it's leading now, and like Michelle is talking from experience. And I think that's it. You can't tell someone unless you've, I mean, obviously I haven't experienced everything, but I think when you know that somebody's coming to you because they know that you've had sort of, you've been through some stuff and, you've had transition in your life, you can talk to them with experience. And I think, our groups kind of probably go hand in hand in a lot of senses because, it is a space for women. And I think, when you can share in that space and it's a safe place. I know that Michelle's just recently made her group private, so it's even better, so I think that, it is a good feeling because you kind of know that you've inspired someone else to sort of take that journey.
It is incredible, inspiring, every wonderful word you can think of. So if people, fairly certain most people here are here because of you two ladies, but if they aren't aware of how they can find these two groups, we will post the links. But is it what would they search for?
For me, I mean, I've got the group on Facebook, which is like an inspiration group. And it is, and I was thinking about this actually. I know that obviously I'm quite early on in my coaching journey, but I kind of also created a Facebook page specifically for a purposeful life. And I actually changed it because I felt like I was kind of leaving the men out a little bit. And I feel like, men's mental health also needs to be, out there. And I know that I can help not just women, but also men if it was a coaching conversation. So my Facebook page is A Purposeful Life.
Okay.
And the other group is Inspiration, Motivation.
Wonderful. And Michelle?
Mine is I'm Every Woman. And it's it's all in me. And it's under health and beauty. I think you have to put it into categories, don't you? But it's there, and hopefully, because there's a lot of friends that are in it, if ladies search for it, they might have friends that are in it already. It is closed now, and I know I had this conversation with you, Andy, but I think because of the topics that we're talking about, we didn't really want anybody just to be able to look on or just see, and I think it made a few women not comment on a few posts. So once it was closed and made private, there's been some interesting conversations in there.
Revelations.
Yes, revelations. Someone actually said it went closed today at 5:30, and then someone posted it and went, "Yay! Does that mean there's no more willies?"
Willy-free zone.
Willy-free zone. And that's not because we want to exclude anyone at all. It's just so that the ladies can feel that they can ask the questions about intimate things and things that you find embarrassing. Some of the things are embarrassing, but we'll try and make it light-hearted. And there's that many ladies in there now. I also put a post on asking everyone to say what they do for a living, just in case anyone can help with anything else outside of what we're talking about. So it isn't to keep the willies out, because
So
we all love
are
willies.
there men in the group already, or have you booted them all out?
No, there was no men in the group, but the posts were visible to other people. So if somebody said something about, I don't know, itchy,
Tell
whatever.
us.
No, it was something that I'd shared. Oh, I'd shared something about the Zoom the other day. That was all. And someone had commented on it that it was interesting. And I think a few of the women went, we didn't even realise that other people could maybe see what we're talking about. And that made them draw back a little bit, which is totally the opposite of what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Totally the opposite.
Pogwash says, Willie's lives matter. I'm with
Big
him on
Willie's
that one.
lives matter. All Willie's lives matter.
Yeah. All Willie's
Willies matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered the crux of the conversation, but I want to carry on talking with you ladies, if you don't mind, because I'm sure anyone that have other things that they need to do. Lou, you mentioned about money, and you kind of said no, not something you can make a living out of. There are people who do. They get into this.
Yeah.
You're not inspired to ever go down that route, leave your corporate role and be a full-time coach?
Eventually, yeah, I would like to, I think it's in terms of like having that bigger vision. And I think the dream is to sort of live by the sea, work for myself, all that stuff. But I think realistically, it's having that foundation, knowing that I can, afford to sort of leave my corporate job, and have this sort of in the background, sort of bubbling along. But I mean, I think it is quite a slow, especially now. I mean, there's that many coaches out there, and it just depends. But I mean, I would like to think eventually that's where it would head, that I would be able to afford to give up my normal job, let's say.
Mm-hmm. So how do you find clients?
So that's the thing. It just really depends. I mean, there's a number of ways. I mean, I know, as I was saying earlier, the thing that I find quite challenging is social media, Instagram more so, because I feel like that, I mean, especially with the course that I've done, because the lady that runs the course is very sort of hot on that, and, putting your face on there every day, like getting in, whereas, that's maybe where I need to do a bit more work around my own visibility, how I feel about putting myself out there as a coach, because while I've got my corporate job, am I really putting myself out there, if you know what I mean? So I mean, the clients I've had, like Michelle said, I was, there was a number of hours that I needed to get sort of as part of my training, which was obviously offered for free. At the moment on my Facebook page, I'm offering a pay what you can sort of thing. So, I mean, it is really, at the moment, it's not really like I'm not doing it as a money incentive. I'm very aware that we've come through quite a difficult period in the last 2 years. And, I know it sounds like, but it's like Michelle, I feel like I want to help people. And, if it just means that they just get a little bit closer to what they want, or, some sort of happiness again, that you just feel like you're doing something. But I think, it's just starting small, really, being realistic. And I'm still learning. I'm not, as much as the course kind of comes to a close at the end of March, I'm still on this sort of journey myself. And I'm still, but I think for now it would be very much around visibility and, through friends and networking. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to go to a networking event soon, which will be really good, because I think also people still are maybe unsure about what it actually involves. But that's why I offer like a free discovery call, so where people can you can have a phone call, and if it's something that they feel like they want to invest in, then we can sort of start something. But that's kind of how I'm doing it at the moment, and word of mouth, really.
Okay, well, Colin Williams says, feel free to give him a shout. He did a similar thing 20 odd years ago, so he can help you with some tips. And I think you touched on the subject there, which is very important. And if I can relate it very quickly to a similar kind of problem that DJs would have. They want to reach out to more people, but they want to focus on the music. They don't want to have to be the face behind the music, constantly having to push things, because it just feels unnatural to them. And as I'm sure yourself, who very shy and retiring, in the background, doesn't like to be the centre of attention at all.
Never.
It would be very difficult for you to put yourself out there, you know. And you also touched on something very interesting. We did see through lockdown an increase in people who became coaches. We saw an increase in people who were doing holistic treatments, yoga, and the likes. And sometimes people can be quite dismissive of that. But if things happen to take people along that journey, then why not? You know?
Yeah, I think as well with lockdown, I think having more time at home, and some people just had more time, and it was, like I said earlier, getting back to actually what makes people tick. And there were people that probably thought, oh well, I'd love to be a yoga teacher, but I've and it gave them that time and that space to actually, I mean, even like myself, like I said, that's when I signed up for this course, through coaching, what kind of got me onto this. So yeah, it's just sort of because sometimes we don't ever really sit and give ourselves that space. And I think that's probably what happened with lockdown, that we all had all this time on our hands, and some people used it for that kind of thing.
All right, we're getting a few gentlemen commenting here. Jans says, bonjour, ladies, in his finest French accent.
Hello.
And Scully says, thank you, ladies. This has been brave, insightful, and inspirational. We are entering a different phase of our lives, and understanding these issues can only help us to be better men, too.
I love it. Yeah,
Here.
really
I have already taken something away from this conversation myself. I'm going to look into the menopause help for men that you were discussing earlier, if only to help me with my constant daily battle with my my own personal lunatic of a wife that we won't talk about. Also, I think she's been sending photographs of herself in a bra and knickers to some guy on a weekly basis. I'm not quite sure about that. But let's come back to you, Michelle Ward.
Hello.
sitting, listening intently. What's next?
What's next? I'm going to carry on with the journey for myself personally. Get my head down with this personal training course. I'm meeting with Steve on Friday. I need to get some timeline in place for it, otherwise it's a bit all over the place. I want to start setting some goals for that, so I feel as if I'm getting somewhere with it. The I'm Every Woman, I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to open it up to maybe not just menopause related subjects, because somebody commented on something the other day, one of the ladies, that she wanted to comment, but she had an injury rather than she felt was menopause problems. So I don't want to isolate people in the group thinking that they can't comment. So I'm going to open it up just to talk about anything, your mental health and fitness, anything us related, because I'm every woman. So it's every woman.
And then locally?
Locally, yes. I met with a good friend of mine on Monday. We had an idea a couple of years ago, me and Joe, to do some brunches here, some like network brunches, which is what you were saying about the networking now that you're doing. We were going to get some business brunches together, or business meetings for different ladies in different areas. But on Monday we decided that we're going to keep it within health and fitness, because there are other groups here that are for estate agents and all different things like that, and they're great. So we would just be repeating that. So we're going to go down the health and fitness kind of route and invite ladies that have got their own health and fitness companies to come along to a business brunch. We might get a little DJ, a bit of food, a bit of drink.
That'd be good.
Have it as a networking thing, all work on a referral basis where, if someone's sitting talking in the hairdressers that they really want to go to a gym or start getting fit, but they don't know where to go, she'd refer them to me. So we've got one planned for April. We've got a date in mind towards the end of April. We're going to approach a couple of different bars. So if you know any DJs, Andy, any good ones, do you?
No.
I was thinking about Mikey, actually.
Yeah.
Gonna get Mikey and the crew, Mikey and Drew.
Well, not everyone loves him, little shit.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Oh. Yeah, so that's our plans. So we just met Monday. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna do it because At the minute now, my favourite saying is, "Oh, what's the worst that can happen?"
Yeah.
Indeed,
Exactly.
indeed. So, I think we've had a very insightful conversation, a very positive, inspiring conversation. Lou, I want to leave it with yourselves before I come back and say goodbye to Michelle. One more time, please let everybody know why they need to speak to you, what they're going to achieve from talking to you, and how amazing you're going to make their lives.
um, if you want a cheerleader, your own cheerleader, if there's something that you want, that you know that you want to get somewhere, but you don't quite know how to get there, you need some support and accountability, and someone that's neutral, that perhaps has walked in your shoes. I'm not claiming to have all the answers. I'm not claiming to have my life 100% sorted myself, but it's a case of, like I say, just having that support and, going on a journey together, really. And I've got a Facebook page, A Purposeful Life. You can find out more there. And also, obviously, on Facebook myself. So if there's any questions, if you're not sure about, or anything that you want to clarify regarding what it is or what it entails, just message me.
On Facebook, you are Louby Lou, LoubyLou. I loved that comment you said about having your own personal cheerleader. I already have this vision. Don't let my wife know, but I have this vision of you in a short skirt, long white socks, and some pom poms. So
Get some pom poms.
And we've all
you
seen
go.
your big knickers.
That's
Yeah,
my
my pom-poms.
that's my sleep. That's
And
my
your
sleeping material. Okay, so thank you for that. We will share some links. Michelle, thank you very
You're
much. You
welcome.
can.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Do
very
you feel
much.
like you need a white wine now, or are you okay, wife?
No, I'm good
Mrs. Ward?
actually. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I was
you.
dreading it at the beginning, and then I've been really looking forward to it. But that just shows how my confidence has changed
Yeah.
from all these different little steps. And I just want to say one last thing to the ladies that are feeling how I was feeling 3 years ago. I want, if anything, please just look at how I did with Carmen, and if she can do it, I can do it. It's literally just little steps and getting your ducks in a row. And I'm really, really happy to try and help in any way that I can.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Inspirational. I'm going to say a few words to the crew. So you take care now. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye, bye.
Bye.
Wow. How absolutely incredibly inspirational they were. Probably one of the most viewed videos that we've had. So many comments, so many replies. Let me just scroll through these. Forgive me if I don't get to see and say thank you to you all. There's actually way too many people for me to thank. All of the replies are coming in. Bravo and love hearts. Both Lou and Michelle will come back, I'm sure, and watch the video again, because when you're doing these things, you very much do get lost in the moment and you forget what you've said very often. So I'm sure they'll come back and watch again, and they will reply to each and every one of you at some point. Looking forward to next Tuesday, because I'm back in the flow of things now. It's okay not to know. A very good friend of mine and somebody that many people in the music industry will know, Dan Kiley, he's going to be talking to me next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Did I just say this? It's okay not to know. He is a psychotherapist, laying myself bare on camera for him to address issues that he's faced along the way, issues that many of us may face. He'll also be talking about grief and how it can affect us after losing someone very, very close to him, losing someone very close to us all recently. So next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thank you to everybody. As I say, I just want to draw a reference on this screen here to all of these logos that are coming up. My Access crew members, thank you all so very much. It's your help and your support on a monthly basis that allows me to continue to do this. It enables me to get all of these little tools and tricks, and it makes me sit here and think about how I can bring more content to you. It's all about a purposeful life. I found a purpose sitting here in front of this camera talking to you guys, most of whom are all VB family, friends for life, and it's just a way of us all to come together, and I'm sure we all gain something from the conversations. Okay, so I will bid you farewell. Thank you so much. Tuesday evening, the 15th of February, again, wherever you're watching, leave a comment for the ladies, and enjoy the rest of your evening. See you very soon. Bye bye.